Production for The Hunger Games and its sequels was a huge affair, with a casting process alone that went on for months, and honestly, the movies would have looked totally different if these actors had been cast. Austin Butler shot onto the radars of movie fans everywhere with back-to-back roles in Elvis and Dune Part 2.
It was the greatest carnival attraction I'd ever seen.
Of course, he'd been acting for years before those films, and back in the early 2010s, Butler tried his hand at playing Peeta in The Hunger Games. While answering questions for BuzzFeed Celeb alongside his The Bike Riders co-star Jodie Comer, Butler said, "I auditioned for The Hunger Games and I didn't get it at all. I don't even think I got a callback. Yeah, it was for the part of Peeta." Butler added that he thought Josh Hutcherson was great in the role, and ultimately missing out on Peeta didn't slow Butler's career down at all. Hailee Steinfeld's breakout role arrived at the age of 14 in 2010's True Grit, and her career skyrocketed from there. She continued turning heads with performances in the Pitch Perfect franchise as well as 2018's Bumblebee. Steinfeld also racked up several comic book roles, voicing Gwen Stacy in Sony's Spider-Verse films and playing expert archer Kate Bishop in Hawkeye. With that last one, it's easy to see how she could have been the perfect fit for one particular Hunger Games character.
Hey, bros!
Steinfeld was up for Katniss Everdeen and got pretty far in the audition and casting process. She ultimately lost the part to Jennifer Lawrence, but didn't seem to have too many regrets when she spoke about it during an interview with The Independent in 2019. She said, "There are so many parts that I wanted or didn't get, but I think weirdly it's the same feeling of having missed every high school dance and prom, and yet I somehow found my way to the Met Gala. I feel like I've made up for it." Shailene Woodley kicked off her own dystopian YA action franchise with 2014's Divergent, but her big action break came this close to happening a few years earlier in The Hunger Games. Unfortunately, according to the actor, the audition didn't go her way. Woodley sat down for an interview with the Daily Beast in 2014 to discuss her work in Divergent, and the topic of Katniss came up. The interviewer asked her if she auditioned for Katniss, which she confirmed. She explained, "We had to do 2 scenes that weren't even in the movie, I believe. One of the scenes was when she first gets called to go into the Hunger Games and has to say goodbye to her mother and Gale." In a separate interview with MTV, Woodley admitted, "It wasn't like a great audition, but I think that Jennifer Lawrence is perfect for the role." Speaking of X-Men, Evan Peters also made a run for Hunger Games fame, joining the long list of actors who auditioned for Peeta. Unfortunately, he didn't get the part, but he did get a good way through the process. After auditioning at least once, he got a call back to run through a scene with Jennifer Lawrence shortly after she was cast. Peters spoke about this process during a 2011 interview with Vulture, saying, "That was really cool. I got to do a scene with Jennifer Lawrence. I was nervous as hell because she's such a fantastic actress. And the movie is such a great story. I love all those books. I can't wait to see the movie. I'm so psyched." Considering he just starred in the first season of what would lead to a decade of work with American Horror Story, not to mention the countless film roles to come, it's safe to say that losing the role in The Hunger Games wasn't a real-life horror story for Peters. Yet another Peeta contender was then relatively unknown Lucas Till, who'd gotten some attention for his role in the Hannah Montana movie and was poised for stardom after playing Havoc in X-Men First Class. The Hunger Games would have certainly helped his career, though as we know now, he didn't get the part. Still, Till got further than most, and after his initial audition, he got a call back to do a screen test. This came about a week after Jennifer Lawrence won the part of Katniss, so they did a chemistry read together. The screen test must not have gone well, seeing as the actor didn't win the role. While that franchise didn't work out for him, Till reprised his role of Havoc in 2 subsequent X-Men films, and seemed to get along just fine with Lawrence in those.
Well, you know what they say about guys with big feet? And, yours are kind of small.
Kristen Chenoweth is an incredibly talented actor who's dominated television, the theater, and films. She's also a writer and singer with numerous albums and hit singles to her name. After she read The Hunger Games, Chenoweth tweeted she was obsessed with the YA novel. More than that, she was obsessed with playing Effie Trinket. During an appearance on the Shining Bright But Doing the Work with Jenny McCarthy podcast, Chenoweth said that the casting just didn't work out, saying, "I had a great meeting and I had a great time reading the material. I was a fan of the books. When I found out it wasn't going my way, I was like, who is it?" Despite sounding a little disappointed, Chenoweth praised Elizabeth Banks' performance in the role.
Happy Hunger Games! And may the odds be ever in your favor.
John C. Reilly has been killing it in Hollywood for decades.
See what we got in here. Ringo.
Reilly is often seen starring opposite Will Ferrell in comedies, but he's proven his acting chops in a variety of genres. So it's unsurprising to learn that the comedy legend was up for the role of Haymitch Abernathy in The Hunger Games. That part went to Woody Harrelson, who did an amazing job with it. Still, it's interesting to imagine how things would have played out had Riley landed the role. According to Vulture, Riley was going to receive an offer to play Haymitch, but that ultimately didn't pan out. There was plenty of confusion over casting as things were ramping up for the Hunger Games production. According to Today, the actors who were cast were put under a restrictive gag order, which explains why it looked as if Riley was tapped to play Haymitch right up to the point it was confirmed he wasn't. Around the time casting kicked off for The Hunger Games Catching Fire, Garrett Hedlund was a relative newcomer. He'd landed several high-profile roles, including playing Sam Flynn in Tron Legacy, and he's appeared in numerous films and TV series since. He was also one of the names being passed around to play Finnick Odair. Hedlund got far in the casting process, which he explained during a 2012 interview with MTV. Hedlund said he was approached about the part, but he was already working on a different project and couldn't find the time to sit down and read the books. From what he described, he might have been tapped for the role had his schedule opened up, but Hedlund wasn't too concerned about it. The actor told MTV, "Everybody around me is flipping out about the books, and I didn't really have the time to sit down lately and read any book, not just Hunger Games. But I've got a couple projects on my plate that I'm looking forward to reading now." Hedlund was up against several prominent actors, including another one who went on to become a big star. Taylor Kitsch is one of those actors who's appeared in a ton of popular movies, but is somehow not as well known as he should be. He played Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine, the lead in John Carter, and many more impressive roles. Kitsch has also worked extensively in television, where he's probably best known for playing Tim Riggins on Friday Night Lights. Like so many others, Kitsch eyed a part in the Hunger Games franchise, and his name was one that came up a lot in connection with Finnick Odair. Hollywood Life revealed in 2012 that he and Hedlund were the final two in the running to play Finnick. Neither actor ended up landing the part, which went to Sam Claflin.
Have a good day.
It's unclear how far Kitsch actually got in the process, but when the Los Angeles Times reached out to him for comment, he didn't mince words, saying that it was, quote, not going to happen. Tony Shalhoub's list of roles is long, but it doesn't include playing Beetee, first introduced in The Hunger Games Catching Fire. That role eventually went to Jeffrey Wright, but Shalhoub was in the running before it went to him. In 2012, Variety reported early in the casting process that Shalhoub was the frontrunner for the role. Shalhoub's name came up around the same time Amanda Plummer landed the role of Wyrus, the female tribute from District 3. It's unclear why Shalhoub didn't win the part, and Wright did, but what is clear is that Shalhoub didn't suffer much from losing the role. He went on to appear in dozens of films and television series. Mia Wasikowska played a few interesting roles early in her career, but her breakout character was without a doubt playing Alice in Alice in Wonderland. After that, she landed numerous parts that made her an in-demand actor. When the Hunger Games Catching Fire production began looking for someone to play Joanna Mason, Wasikowska was one of the actors interested. In fact, multiple outlets reported that Wasikowska was likely to be selected to play Joanna, but the role eventually went to Jenna Malone.
I'd love to put my axe in her face.
As casting was ramping up during the lead-up to the production of The Hunger Games Catching Fire, rumors abounded on the internet, and this appears to be one of them. Wasikowska hasn't confirmed that she was up for the role of Joanna since the film was released, but even if the rumors are true, this was all happening during an incredibly busy time in her filmography, so it probably didn't matter to her either way. Melissa Leo is probably best known for her numerous performances on television, although she also won an Oscar for her performance in 2010's The Fighter. Fans of the Hunger Games franchise will be interested to know that Leo was one of the actors considered for the role of Mags Flanagan, the mute female tribute from District 4. That role went to Lynn Cohen, and she did an excellent job conveying a wide range of emotions without speaking, a difficult task for any actor. While casting was still filled with online rumors and a lot of back and forth for a number of actors, Leo confirmed that there was interest in her taking the role. When asked about the casting, Leo said, "I would have liked to have done it, but it doesn't look like it'll be mine." Leo expanded a little, offering up the reason she thought she might have been passed over. "I'm not much of a reader, and that might very well be part of the reason that I did not get the role." One actor who's had an interesting career playing all kinds of characters is Kevin Durand. He's appeared in everything from X-Men Origins Wolverine to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Durand's career has been diverse, to say the least, and it almost included the role of Brutus in The Hunger Games Catching Fire. Ultimately, the part of District 2's male tribute went to Bruno Gunn, but Durand's name was reportedly passed around for a bit as casting was underway. Durand didn't land the part, and it's unclear how far he got in his audition.